Oh, yes, we are set. Yes, there we go. Perfect, perfect. Howdy, Xavier. Managed to get 3 wins in Night Rank today. Oh, congrats. You mean the beta? It's set to just one boss, right? So it has to be like the same boss and whatever random assortment of bosses they include in the beta, right? I assume that's how it works. I can't believe you're about to face the greatest Night Lord, the ocean. Ah, yes, truly. A creature of unfathomable darkness. uh... Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I hope the build variety is what made it interesting. It's the new Cerberus boss is the decided Night Lord, right? That's the one they have it all set for. Oh yeah, it's down here. Okay. Huh? Huh. Oh, right, because it's the underground. Oh. I think it's more shocking that I can kind of see it. I'm actually surprised they don't just have, like, I'm kind of surprised they don't just have that as, like, you know, like sand or something they have there to cover it, and they just make it, like, deep enough that you know, you obviously die. First day, it's Centipede Demon and Demi-Humans. The second day, it's Morgott and Draconic Tree Sentinel. Oh, so it's set. Okay. Wait, I thought, is third day always the Night Lord, then? It's not a third boss and then Night Lord afterwards? Gravekeeper's Cookbook. Uh-huh. Oh, man, I don't remember these items. Oh, because it requires putrescence, that's why. Ah. Cool. Draconic Tree Sentinel is actually surprisingly cool. Wait, what did they do to him? Like, he's always been just Draconic Tree Sentinel. So, like, I'm kind of curious what they could have possibly done to make that fight, you know, cool, quote-unquote, compared to what we got in the base game, which I thought was already fine. Apparently, each Night Lord you'll be able to choose in retail release will give the players a predetermined set of bosses. Oh, really? Is that how they're doing it? I don't know. This feels surprisingly on rails for a roguelike. I'm really curious how this is gonna work out, you know? There we go. He has 2 additional boss level Leyndell Knight Horse Riders. Oh, so he comes with the horse riding Leyndell Knights, and he has a call to make them charge or summon charging phantoms if they are dead. Ooh, it could turn into a storm like Placky and Smash. Ooh, cool. So they are adding some new things. That's cool. That's some lore stuff you can include in the that's some lore stuff we can include. Like, I can include the Knight thing to talk about the connection between the Tree Sentinels and the Leyndell Knights. I can also mention the Storm thing in the whole becoming more like a Oh. Oh. Didn't I just say in my Ancient Dragon thesis how it looks like Gransax might be the child of Placidusax? And now we have the Sentinels who are literally stealing pieces of Gransax's body, using it in order to perform powers similar to Placky. Oh. Oh. that's interesting. Can't wait for the Lore of the Centipede Demon and Elden Ring analysis. Yeah, I'm totally gonna be doing that. Yep. It's definitely ooh, Smithing Stone 6. Oh. This could be interesting. Cool thing with Morgott is that he has a cloud of night magic in front of his face, so it seems he's being mind controlled. I mean, that sounds about right. Otherwise, I don't know how they can rationalize how Morgott's doing what he's doing without realizing that it's all a farce. I wonder how that works with Nameless King, though, because I don't remember the trailers having any of that. I wonder if they're going to do the same thing, or they're going to be like, yeah, Nameless King's just like, he's okay, he's like, cool, I get to fight people? Sure, why not? I'll kill time. It's Morgott fight just named Fell Omen? Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Again, they're not going to spoil Morgott, right? They're not going to spoil that for people who haven't played the original game. The oldest Abyssal Archives before the Isless Thesis update to include Night Rain will become a collector's edition. For real, for real. Just his sword and Bloodflame will be spoiled. Sure, the moves and attacks will, but you're not going to connect that to Morgott, right? Because it's not until you actually get to the boss fight that you're like, oh, hey, it's Margit, right? And you don't get any real connections about the blood or stuff involving, like, Morgott and the Omen, because he's an Omen, right? So anything you see with Morgott and would connect to Omens, you're just going to think of it connected to Margit, not necessarily Morgott, the Grace-Veiled Monarch, or whatever he's called, right? Again, I think the way they're handling story bosses who they nonetheless want to include, at least, like, you know, mild ones like Margit and Morgott, I think they're doing phenomenal on that. So far. Maybe in the full release we're gonna see, like, I don't know, like fucking Radagon, and they're gonna call him like the Lord who came after, or some shit like that, right? And then it's gonna be like, okay guys, like, really? You spoiled the final boss? But yeah, funnily enough, my favorite boss fought was the Tron T-Cell. I'm already liking the lore implications. He has a new knife throw move and anime Bloodflame slashes. Did Morgott do Bloodflame in the original game, though? Like, the same as Mohg? Or do you just mean, like, he's using his corrupted blood stuff instead? He did? Okay. Just wanted to be sure about that, because I couldn't remember exactly how the attack looked. Surprised there's nothing there. Alright, I think that's enough. Corrupted blood, but it works the same. Okay, so it's not... Okay, so it's basically a reskin, is what you're telling me. So it's still Morgott's blood. It's not actual, like, you know, Mohg Bloodflame, but it's effectively just a reskin of that attack. Which, that's fine, right? That's fine. Because you always see, like, the weird flame stuff with the corruption from the regular Omen. So if they just do that with Morgott, and they're like, see, it's like Mohg, except Mohg obviously made it, like, you know, true blood flame bullshit with Formless Mother, right? So I'm okay with that. Oh, in the base game. Okay, so it's the same thing. Okay, so it's not a Night Rain thing. It's what he does in the base game, too. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Oh god. I have to find my way to the demi-human queen. I think I'm getting to where I want to be. Oh, nice. Yep, we're here. Oh, that sucks. We just entered night. Okay, we're gonna have to restart this from the start and move our way in. Yeah, I think I could put a good 30 hours in this game at minimum with the full version. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting this to be a nice, fun little romp, and then it'll probably be forgotten after like a month or two. Hopefully it'll last more than 2 weeks. That's all I ask. Because I think if so, then then the game's probably got real problems. Favorite character to play was the Duchess? Ooh. I was thinking of trying the... What is it, the Rogue? Whoever the mage, Black Witch lady is. Kinda curious to play her, because it sounded like her gameplay was the one that most interesting to me. Though to be honest, I'd be okay with playing the Hawkman tank, because I feel like a lot of people just aren't going to play tank. I just got that feeling, you know? The Recluse, that's the one. There we go. There we go. Can't wait to try and final release the Sekiro Pluck character. I mean, assuming that they're good, right? God. It really is that easy, huh? Like, hot diggity damn. Uh-huh. A little bit lower. Ah, yes, controller. Truly. Let's use mouse for just getting this just right. Huh? Alright, let's adjust this a little more, see if we can get good old Mama. Mama not looking. Alright, there we go. I could do the Hawk. I'm too much of a fighter to play defensive. I would be okay with it, depending on how I like the tank playstyle. Because it looks like they have the idea of doing like an aggressive tank type idea to get aggro and stuff like that. And I could totally dig that. But again, it's going to depend really heavily on what they let you do with him, really. Again, the combat seems really simplified as far as like characters and stuff are concerned, and it's sort of got like this illusion of like variety because it sounds like you're gonna really want to stick to whatever your like preferred weapon is. But I guess that's gonna depend on how build flexibility opens up when we get to the, the actual roguelike portions. Decisions start getting made for permanent upgrades and things, and helping better craft like more specific builds that'll fit like idiosyncratic player ideas. Yeah, we're just gonna have to see, I think. Uh-huh. Alright, so the queen's done. If I recall correctly, she's like every other demi-human queen, so nothing too special. Also, the thing to know is that it seems all the stuff the player can do doesn't have all the buffs and nerfs from Elden Ring patches, so most stuff will feel a good deal slower. Oh, so you mean like all the weapons and stuff are working with base game Elden Ring, not, you know, post-patches Elden Ring? I wonder if that was deliberate or if that was accidental on their part. I wonder. Hawk is really good for reviving people. Always was good to see someone play him. See, that's what I like. Is like the idea that you could be like a good support unit, even if you're not necessarily doing all the damage or whatever, and you're just helping draw aggro so your other teammates. Like, I could definitely see the appeal there. But again, it's going to depend on how many people are actually, like, doing... Because I'm curious how matchmaking is going to work and how classes are going to be decided. Because is it a game where it's actually going to be viable for you to do, like, all DPSs, like, we're just all going to dodge roll to victory? Or is it really going to be better if you have a character who's more so supposed to be the designated, like, tank or whatever? To help really make sure that, okay, you're going to fall, I'm going to make sure you're revived, okay, I'm going to take the aggro here so you don't take all the heat right now, right? The way they designed the bosses is supposed to be so that way they probably will force you to get aggro and stuff, like with the Glavius, you know, doggo boss, you know, splitting into 3. Does anyone know about the Codex, by the way? Did they let you have access to it? Is there anything actually notable or interesting that they're giving you as, like, quote-unquote lore from these Codex entries? Or is it, like, really basic, generic stuff so far? You could do all DPS. Yeah, but I'm questioning about, like, you know, the viability. Because keep in mind, I assume we're playing the lower difficulty, right? Like, the game, like any roguelike, is going to have higher difficulty settings with more, you know, progression and stuff. And that's going to require, obviously, more skill, teamwork, precision. Like, how viable is it going to be to do all DPSs as the game gets actually harder, is what I'm asking. There's a lore in the beta. There's the Codex in the network test. Ah, I see. So that's how they're handling it. I see. I assume the how progression works is you kill the Night Lords in order till you get to the true final boss. If that's how they're gonna do it, and they're not gonna be any like progressing or like, you know, actually like adding to difficulty, I don't know. This definitely feels like it's gonna be one of those. It's definitely not gonna be the type of roguelike that you typically see. That's for sure. It's definitely its own weird thing. Yeah, the emphasis on weird. But oh well, if it's good, it's good, right? That's all that matters. So, I'm looking forward to the playing with the full launch. Hopefully, my PC will not take too long to get done or whatever, because I don't want to play it before we actually get that all squared up. But already, I'm excited by just like, you know, the new moves from bosses and stuff. Already, it's sort of adding to my, it's already adding more evidence for my existing analyses. And I'm surprised that something as recent as Ancient Dragon War is getting some potential love here, so. That makes me at least hopeful that we're gonna get some crumbs when it comes to lore. Even if it's something that's kind of circuitous, you know? Gonna be a little roundabout about it. The max level of Night Rain network test is 15. I hope it surpasses that in the final release. Oh, is that so? From Software said they'll think about adding duos if there's enough demand, so that's definitely happening. Oh, you mean adding like you being able to group up with just 2 people and then adding a 3rd person in, or 15 is perfectly fine with how it's balanced. Again, it depends. It depends on how the progression works in the final game. No, as in just going with 2. Oh, so instead of balancing around 3 people, it balances around 2? Huh. I don't know. Because then they'd have to rework some bosses that would force you to, like, the Glavenus boss that splits up into 3. You'll have to somehow make it so that way either one of them doesn't spawn in, even though it's kind of silly if that happens, right? But I guess it makes sense, right? In some sense, just for balancing purposes. I don't know. I don't know. It'd be a weird thing for me. But hey, if that's what people want, you gotta go with where your customer base is, not necessarily with what makes sense, right? I beat it with 2 because 1 logged out. Of course. Alright, so looks like what we got is pretty much all the good stuff. I'm not seeing anything that's making me go, oh yeah. I mean, we have some confirmation of Crusaders, I guess. Though I could have swore that corpse was a horn scent, so a little weird there. Sending some form. Guy's just stacking his stones. Oh. Man, how did I manage to do this, chat? Why is it this specific coffin? This coffin has caused me so many glitches. I don't know what is about it that causes me to get caught on so much terrain and stuff. There's some DLC enemies, so I wonder to what extent the DLC will be integrated into the full game. I could see maybe a boss or 2 being included. Like, I could see the hippo being a boss. Golden Hippo and Demi-Human Swordman were there already. Ah, I see. Yeah, so, like, I expected, like, some bosses like that. You could probably also get away with, if I had to guess, you could probably also get away with including the giant brazier guy, right? Like, the Wicker Man, mini-boss enemy. They'd probably have to, like, scale it down, probably, in some ways, but I think you could definitely include him, too. Metter. You think they would include Metter? I don't know. I guess if they rename her and gave her like no additional context, you could get again. It's gonna be decided by how they handle the codex for bosses and stuff. Like what lore are we gonna actually get? It might be weird to talk around Metter. You know? I would just love to see her. Is that so? Crab eggs, prawn. By the way, that was obviously one of the prawns that we see outside of the area of R'Lana. Yes, we'll go in there in a second. Again, it amazes me how empty some of these areas are. Like, I look around, I'm like, I should have found something by now, but nope. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Nothing here. Oh, boy. They call it the damage bonus you can find to do extra damage to gravity enemies, those born from falling stars. That makes sense. I don't think there's ever... I don't think there's an exception to that where the enemy is technically either a star or a derivative from a star, right? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, the, Oh, whoops, I touched, Whoopsie. I remember touching the, I remember the lore, the not Albinorix. The, what are they called? Onyx and, Alabaster, there we go. Like, how did Alabaster escape me? Alabaster Lords? I vaguely remember that it touched on them actually, you know, coming from meteors or something to that effect, right? So, that makes sense to me, I think. Hello, Gypsy. Gonna slow her down too, so. Oh god, before I forget. God, I hate this. God, I hate that music. If I could live in a world where that music just disappears, it'd be a happy world indeed. Oh. Oh. There we go. Uh-huh. Maybe a little higher. Elden Beast is the only thing I can think of. He's born from a star, too, because the Golden Star is the Elden Ring, is the Elden Beast, is the Golden Order, yada, yada, yada. Right. So, like, yeah. I don't know if Elden Beast is necessarily affected like gravity enemies, but at the very least, every gravity-weak enemy, I think, is pretty sure falls under that category, right? Yeah, I know what you meant. I know what you were trying to say, Xavier. I'm just saying, like, I don't think he does take any damage, but I think he's still classified under that. My question is there an enemy who would classify under that, or doesn't classify under that, but still takes the extra gravity damage? I don't think Night 2, Boss Morgan, Night Rain is the Cloud. I guess we'll know when we actually play the game, Night Scout. Beautiful. Beautiful thing about the full games, right? I like the fire design. Alright. Good. Surprise. Oh. Surprisingly reasonable? God, I am so happy to not be listening to that music right now. You could cosplay as Marika if you alter the red dress. Oh, really? It looks that similar? In Before Marika is from one of these, and she always had the powers of flame. She never revealed her true potential. She's rejecting her heritage. Ay, ay, ay. Does she have golden eyes? Huh. Hmm. Damn. God, she's got a face, alright. Roy cards, you sure know how to pick them. They're very similar to Tanith's. Yeah, I understand that, but my question is, are they gold? Because I don't remember if Tanith's were gold or not. Like, legit, just don't recall. Alright. Does she have anything special going for her besides the swords? Yeah, it's like 95% the same, which makes sense if they're trying to go with the idea of, see, she comes from this culture, right? Like, that makes sense to me. Choose the flame perfume. Yeah. Yeah, that's worth getting shots of. That doesn't look like anything specific. And the dancing skill. I don't care as much about that, but I guess we could include it. May as well, right? Alright. Alright. Well, that's creepy. Alright. Let us turn the AI back on. Oh. Damn. Like, damn, girl. Damn, girl! You got me to like this shot. Also, get my hairy legs out of there. Like, damn, girl! Like, you got me to not hate this shot of you. There we go. I like that one too. Little bit. A little bit higher. Oh, no, too much. About there, that's fine. There we go. So they only let you play as 4 of the 8 classes, right? Like, you weren't allowed to choose any of the other ones that that are going to be included. I don't even remember what the other ones are going to be. I don't remember if they've confirmed them all or not. No? So then, I guess there's still a bit to discover as far as class variety is concerned. Uh-huh. 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 Oh. How? not gonna work. Oh, so that was an interesting hitbox. Oh! No. Needs to be a waist up type move like that, yeah. There we go. Goat Guy who, Network Test has Wilder, Guardian, Duchess, and Recluse. Goat Guy who does Rock Pillars, Faith Person, Sekiro, and Archer. Okay, so those are the other classes. So we've seen the other classes then in trailers and stuff then. Goat Guy. Wait, I thought the Goat Guy was an enemy. Okay, so you're talking about a different Goat Guy. Okay. Gotcha. There's something about her eyes, her stare, it unsettles me. And not in a, oh, this is intimidating sort of way, but in the, this kind of looks like, she almost looks cross-eyed. I don't know what it is. Uh-huh. It's just mentioned in an interview. Yeah, if you look, you can see him, though. It's kind of blurry, so I can't tell if he's a goat person or a Crucible Touch person. Ah, I see. I mean, like, kind of like a, almost like a, some kind of omen or, misbegotten, maybe. Something like that. I guess we'll know. This isn't the perfumer thing, right? I remember the perfumer thing being something separate. Or is this the actual ability? This is it? Okay, good to know. At the trailer, you can probably see if it's... Oh, there's some screenshots of him, probably? Okay, cool. Yeah, because I don't remember seeing a goat person in the trailer. But then again, I wasn't too, like, looking too closely at, like, the backgrounds and stuff, so there could have been something I missed with one of the guys. Nice, nice. Uh-huh. I guess. Alright, I think I'm done here. I don't think there's anything else I really think I can get any good value on. Ow. I got super lucky with her just doing the dance thing right off the bat. Oh. God, this controller does not want to cooperate. Too many particles. Oh. Oh. A little bit higher. Yeah. Alright. I think Estelle with a few new moves would be cool. Yeah, I think so as well. I'd like to see... I'd like to see probably maybe get Estelle and have some of the hanger boys that we see, you know, that only appear in the other Estelle's, you know, grab animation. And let them be, like, part of the fight as, like, ads he can summon, or, like, they break off of him and they form, like, new star things. If left to their own devices for, like, 30 seconds or something and not broken or whatever. I think that could be cool. Pretty much, I would be okay with anything that basically, added to it. Loki, for the Japanese DLC trailer, story trailer, do you recall if Leda says words to the effects of the ends while falls was a war unseen, the tyranny of Mesmer's flames? Yes? Vaguely so, though I don't remember if tyranny was the word. It might have been power. I'd have to double check that for you. Or maybe it was just Mesmer's flame. I think the tyranny part might have been added. I have to double check. Yeah, that tyranny part's what's tripping me up, because I don't remember if that was in there. It's not appearing in my brain. Also, I think you should mention that all grab attacks seem to have a Night energy to help accentuate them. Again, makes sense, you know, they're all fighting technically on behalf of the Night Lord as some weird, like, I don't know if I would say it like, you know, weird henchmen per se, but, you know, as like thralls, maybe? I don't know. My bigger question is, what's the significance of the Night Lord taking... Again, is this going to tie into Silver Tears and stuff, and them trying to reach, like, the ideal... Oh, there you are. Is it going to tie into Silver Tears and all that stuff, with the whole idea that the Night Lord can take various shapes and forms and stuff like that, right? And so it's not actually, like, you know, the actual bosses, per se. It's the Night Lord mimicking those bosses for the purposes of our battle. And, like you said, Xavier, we beat each of the various options the Night Lord resorts to, and then the Night Lord will take on a quote-unquote true form to fight us with full power or something. So again, the question would be, why? It's like, ah yes, I have my final form, which I could easily crush you with, and why didn't you do it from the start, Busto? I think, Night Scout, again, as I've told you many times before, I think you're looking too deep into it. But I will double check to make sure that, that everything's on the up and up with the line. What I've seen, it seems separate, but obviously no lore yet, so shrug. Yeah, I guess we'll know when the game's out, right? Like, what else can I say to that? again, like I said, I'm happy that I'm seeing some stuff where I'm like, ooh, there's lore potential there. But again, it could be, like I said earlier, crumbs, and that makes me a little sad. But I'm hoping the codex though is gonna be more robust than that. That it's actually gonna give us something meaningful, especially when it comes to Dark Souls bosses. I would hate if it's just like summarizing the basic stuff about Dark Souls. I'm sure some fans will be great. It's like, oh my god, it's finally confirming that the Nameless King is the former King of Anor Londo. It's like, yeah, if you've been paying attention, that's kind of obvious, right? If I recall correctly, Ishizaki said in an interview that Separate Force is sending the Night Lord, so it's not that there's a boss that is fighting in a weaker form 8 times. Oh, is that so? Is that how it is? Yeah, I don't remember. I know I haven't followed closely with all the guys' interviews, so I can totally buy that. But I do wonder then, like, what is behind a King of the Night, right? Like, what could you possibly be, what could you possibly be throwing at everyone for this, right? Like, why the hell, like, would you have, like, 8 different Night Lords who you'd have to defeat individually? Why are these individuals Night Lords, you know, versus anything else? And again, why, if they're Night Lords, are they subservient to some higher power? Like, there are a lot of questions I'd have. Just the aesthetics of getting to the Night Lord seems completely separate from Nox. I mean, I'd assume so, because the Nox have failed with their Night Lord so far. So I wouldn't expect that we'd be seeing something that's necessarily exactly like them. You're just here, huh, buddy? I'm curious as to why a fiery Cerberus type enemy can count as a Night Lord. It doesn't appear to align with the Noxus style. Then again, they didn't make Dragon Soldiers. Again, I would not strictly think of this as, like, necessarily a Nox thing. I would assume that the Night Lord could be, anything, theoretically. And the Nox simply were always pursuing creating some ascended humanoid man because, well, that's what they are and that's what they want to be led by, right? Yeah, I never thought the Night Lord was something that, oh yeah, this is solely for the Nox, because obviously the Nox are simply parties trying to create one. It's not like anything intrinsic should necessarily limit them to one. Ooh. It fascinates me when you see Trina stuff or anything related to other things, and then you have like Hornsent here. You know? That type of crap fascinates me. His title is Night Beast. Oh, cool. I wonder what the final boss will be. I guess we'll have to find out, right? I can't wait for it to just be reskinned Radahn. They can't keep getting away with this! Radahn, promised Night Lord. Pretty much all bodies outside Mesmer's camps are Hornsent. Yeah, it's very interesting if they were conscious of that decision. Like, I wonder what the process is for items and corpses and stuff like that. Is it something where, like, they pick the corpses and they pick the locations of the corpses, and then they pick the items, and then maybe they'll add 1 or 2 extra corpses with specific items as they go about it? Or is it that they always have the items selected, like map out where the items are go first, and then they have the corpses come second? Do they all happen at the same time, right? Like it's a process where it's like, okay, corpse and item, corpse and item, corpse and item. I'm curious how they handle that. Cool. I mean, he isn't a Night Lord, just his title is... Yeah, I get what you mean, Xavier. He's called the Night Beast, but obviously, if he's one of the Night Lord bosses, he's obviously a Night Lord. Though, I'll be honest, it would be funny if it turns out he's actually somehow connected to the Nox, as well as becoming a Night Lord. That would be funny to me. I don't think that'd be the case, because it seems he's a little... Or they... little bit outside of, like, typically what you see from Nox and stuff, so I would be skeptical? Question mark? But hey, what do I know? Do you think the brownish patches on Hornsent Corpse are actually supposed to be gold, a la Placky's wounds? Ooh, I have not really thought about the exact appearance of the corpses, so yeah. I have to get back to you on that one, Night Scout, because I really haven't thought about it. Oh, how could it be so sad? Also, there's an item over there in the background. That's gonna annoy the frick out of me. Oh, there we go. There we go. Final boss is Night God, obviously, and the others are all its husbands and wives. Honestly, you might be right. I know you're memeing, but you might actually be right in the end. That we might get something as crazy as that. Some Night Outer God or something. I wouldn't even be surprised. It makes you wonder, is this like a natural pit, or is this like someone trolling? Did someone decide, haha, I'm just gonna open a giant sinkhole? I wonder if dead things naturally gravitate to center lanes between if the suppressing pillar draws them in for the sake of ensuring they're suppressed. I think both ideas are interesting, but I think the more likely scenario is that, considering that there has to be ships and stuff that are made for the Butrescence and things, I would assume that everything is just physically sent here, or brought over here, one way or the other. Like, either the Deathbirds bring them, or the actual, you know, people there would bring them that way. Maybe they had different practices or whatever, how close they would be, but I would assume, again... Oh, there we go, yeah, cool. If I'm right, and this is actually because of this, it'd be very interesting if the idea is that the Deathbirds would collect anywhere and people just naturally gravitated over here because it was closer to the peak with which they would do it. Now, I guess the question would then be, what about all this here? But then again, I guess considering they only let us get through it through this little passage here, maybe the idea was that this area was inaccessible or something. Might be a natural sinkhole. Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with that stuff, so I would not know how common something like this down deep below would be. Ah! Well. Well. Sacrificial pit for Deathbirds. We shall give to our god! Yay! Throw them in the pit! Throw them in the pit! Oh! I threw myself in the pit. Loki Street! Yep. Now we know. Let's unlock the, Let's unlock the Grace Point down there, in case we ever want to go to the Fissure. Now that we've broken free of the barrier, because we skipped all the way to Shadowkeep. Ah! What the frick, man? You jump scared me. Dude just came out of nowhere. Wonder if the Frenzy Flame could have made the Abyss start sinking somehow? Sure, I'm open to that idea. It didn't even have to be the Frenzy Flame. Could be other things. Could be, what's the word? Could be connected to, for example, the Horn Scent, right? Okay, yeah, I'm going the right way. When would you start getting picture of Dancing Lion, Loki? Oh god. Yeah, Dancing Lion's one I could definitely get shots of. That would be kind of cool. We could also get the one at Rao, in the Rao Ruins. I don't even have to get the one in the actual proper area right now. Yeah, I have to think about that one. Okay, where the hell is the jump off point again? There, okay. Yeah, I understand the reasoning, Night Scout. I'm just saying that I think there could be other possibilities, right? It could be the Frenzied Flame thing. It's just to know, look at all the Frenzied Flame people here, and their frenzy's getting around, and it's infusing into everything, right? Something more basic like that. But again, it would depend on how viable it would be the idea of them sinking. Because it could also just be, oh, the sun doesn't reach, because we're conveniently deciding it doesn't for the purposes of the, what's it called? I would say lore purposes, but, you know, for the purposes of the atmosphere and stuff, right? Ah! Almost screwed that up. Deep purple lilies from Horn Scents. Alright, there we go. Ah! God, I'm falling a lot these last few minutes. Or if the huge trees there are supposed to be giant Horn Scent trees. The huge trees? What? No, I think it's because there's still a sun in the sky, Night Scout. I don't know, I feel like it would only mention the Erd Tree or the Shadow Tree if it had, like, a very specific... Yeah, look, there's the Grace Point right over there. It had a very specific idea in mind. I don't know. Why is there a fucking cliff everywhere I go? At the Abyss. Oh, you mean at the Abyss. The giant trees there. See, I thought you were talking about something I just passed. I was like, wait, where the frick were giant trees? Where did I pass them? There's no way. I can't possibly have missed them. Woo! Okay, sure, whatever. I guess these blood fiends would be Trina worshippers who grew to despair or something like that. Wait, does that guy have sleep? The unique giant boat with a hole, that's probably where the putrescent knight came from. I assume it's where most of the putrescents at the bottom of that area is, because that's where you jump off from, right? They all do? They all have sleep? Huh. They even spit sleep instead of blood Loki. Oh, okay, okay. So you guys are talking about all the ones in this area specifically. Yeah, okay, these guys are definitely like Trina worshippers who became blood fiends, probably. That or they're blood fiends who decide to worship Trina. Interesting shift in choice of god. Though granted, if I became a naked mole rat, I probably would also be questioning my choices. Very cool. We'll get shots of you one day. Let's at least get shot of you with your... Oh god, of course there's a fucking... There, you happy? Definitely lots of normal corpses, not a lot of horn scent. Noble corpses, actually, instead of commoners. Yeah, yeah. Noble corpses, in fact. If I recall correctly, some of the bodies are of non-horn scent. Yeah, I would assume so. That would usually be the implication. I like how they have these things stick out. Like, how the hell did they go through solid rock like that, like, without breaking apart, you know? The things you do because of a cool visual, you know? Alright. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, this is a Mesmer soldier. Yeah, joined the crusade. I wonder what that means for the horde set ones that have it then. I guess the idea could be they stole it from actual soldiers, right? The rune. I guess that's feasible. You don't have horns, right, buddy? Good. We don't trust you, you filthy horn scent here. They drifted in like Dark Souls 3. That would be funny if that's actually how that works. That they actually don't sail, they just kind of warp. And some of them accidentally kind of warp a little too far, too deep in the coordinates. Not high enough on the Z-axis. Woo! Is it just me, or are even these freaking Gravekeeper birds a little different from normal? Like, am I crazy? Don't they look a little odd? I don't know, I don't remember them being so purple. You know? They have purple stains and stingers. Then yeah, they have to be affected by the environment somehow, which makes sense because we see poison ones who do something similar. So yeah, I could see something similar to what we see with the coffins act as like a guide where they're like kind of pulled through like some magic system that lets you kind of drag the giant coffins all the way to their location or whatever. Though again, I guess the question would be, then did they just fall? Then does the spell like break at some point, and then they just rely on momentum to go the rest of the way, however far that distance is? I don't know. I don't know. There we go. Sound pretty normal to me. Sir, you're clipping through the coffin. Glove wart without the corpse. I guess it must have been taken from like here, or was on here, or got. I don't know. Granted, there's a lot of rock here. You know, there's a lot of probably rough riding. Especially since stone don't float. That's true, but this is fantasy, so I'm willing to suspend my disbelief if they really want to make it so, you know? Can't tell if that's another bull or something else. I guess it's all the guys that are on search patrol, and they just like default to this pose when I come by, because I guess their AI is supposed to trigger that way, even though it's turned off, so they just kind of end up doing like their T-pose type thing. Right? Woo! I think I can make it all the way to our good old friend, the Leonine Misbegotten, you know? And then we end things. We end things here. I won't do that because I know I'm going to forget about it, so. There you are. I'll be honest, buddy, I completely forgot you existed. Oh, that's a good shot. What happens if I turn on high LOD? Oh no, high LOD is on. Whoops. It's been on. Phew. There we go. Who keeps dying? You're dying. I'm dying. Why are we all dying? Oh. That looks a little weird. Hello, sleepy boys. He has a unique skill, Loki. Cool. We'll check it out one day. He uses multi-layered rings of light. Oh, neat. Alright, and I'm not going down there, so. There we go. What is that pose? I got nothing to do with it. I wash my hands of this cheese. I was behind this whole Radigan ejecting Trina Mikola thing. Wasn't me. You realize they're making the cinema pose at last. Oh my god, you're right. Absolute cinema. Oh, it's so dumb. That's be the dumbest shit I've ever seen in this game. Alright. I guess eagles just don't know how to close their eyes. Alright. I think we're gonna end things here. And these animals drop lilies and Trina blood virgins. Oh, cool. So the animals are all gathering around, eating all the Trina stuff, and then they're falling asleep because of it. You poor, poor saps. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to end things here. We got some good stuff here. I can thankfully warp out of here, no problem. So that's going to be good. Thanks so much, guys. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Today was a good, fun day for me personally, but I was kind of busy, so I guess we'll play it by ear, but I might end up just like doing another late, like, you know, kind of casual stream again. So we'll see how it goes. Until then, later.